Never did I expect to be called a paedophile and a nonce.
The boy comments, as you said, I do get it a lot in life in general. So if we get deliveries to the door, I have to have my ID to show them.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
And this is my 29-year-old wife. But believe it or not, people accuse her of being my 10-year-old son. The wedding was perfect. So originally we were planning to get married in 2026. But due to us going abroad to do IVF, legally we had to bring the wedding forward. So Hannah did not have to adopt her own children, children, whatever. So Hannah didn't do pretty much anything. I planned and organised our wedding in 6 weeks.
With our wedding, like why we enjoyed it so much was just because it was everybody that meant something to us was there. So that's all you could really want. I don't think there's any point in paying just to make other people be impressed. We done it for what we wanted. And I did let Lauren take over because they say a happy wife is a happy life.
Very true.
So I started very early.
So
anything she wanted was just a yes and a smile.
Me sharing my life and journey on social media, you are bound to get trolls. Never did I expect to be called a paedophile and a nonce for marrying a 29-year-old woman. The trolling, it bothers you at times, doesn't it? Because you have it in every aspect of life. But for me personally, I take it with a pinch of salt. I ignore it. Like Hannah said, I am a very calm person and it doesn't bother me. It bothers me more when we go to a supermarket. And people will look over Hannah and try and talk directly to me. And I'm like, that's my wife.
It's easy enough to ignore if you don't look at your phone, but when you try and respond to the people that follow you, that support you and help you, you've got to go through a lot of those negative comments to find the ones that aren't negative. It's not all bad, but I think, to be honest, you had a private message, someone like DM'd you off Instagram or TikTok, I can't remember what it was, telling Lauren to go and kill herself and to kill her whole family and the world would be much better off. And I think that's what kind of got to me, because I know I'm only like 5'3" and I only weigh like 60 kilograms, but if I ever met one of them face to face, I wouldn't ever stop, because it infuriates me that much that someone thinks they have the right to tell someone to end their own life. I think the boy comments, as you said, I do get it a lot in life in general. So if we get deliveries to the door, I have to have my ID to show them. If I'm going to the cinema and it's an 18+, I have to have my ID with me. If I'm going to get an energy drink, or if I buy like a nicotine type of product like cigarettes or a vape, I can't go unless I have my ID, because there's just no point me even trying. I'm getting it in my daily life. Now my wife's starting to interpret it and I'm getting it through trolls. So sometimes it can be very overwhelming, Like having a butch partner is a well-known thing. It's not hidden. It's a very common thing now, and it's the way the world's going, and people either need to learn to adjust to it or just sit in their room with the curtains shut and just be quiet.
If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. We met on Tinder. We did speak for a little while and then I did ghost Hannah.
You did, but I wasn't having it.
I
called you up and I was like, if you want to not continue this is fine, but at least have the respect to tell me. And then she was like, I'm really sorry.
And that night we ended up going for a walk along the beach in Worthing.
And then we went through this like little cute park area thing to get on the way back to your friend's house. And she like slobbered lip gloss all over my face. And from that moment, I just knew. For me, the attraction grew over time, because Lauren's profile picture to what Lauren was what we call a catfish, don't it, babe?
Yeah.
A little bit. A lot of filters.
I think for me as well, personally, like I did find Hannah attractive, but Hannah did look young, and it was how Hannah was there for me through when I was in the women's refuge and was showing that someone actually cared, that made me fall for her before meeting her, because I knew how kind and genuine and how good her heart was. So I actually hid my sexuality. My dad died when I was 6 in a plane crash, and I went to an all-girls boarding school. My mum met her wife, who's now her wife, and I got severely bullied for my mum being gay. And after my dad dying so young, all I wanted was that perfect family. So I was looking for a man in the army. I did meet a man in the army and had my 2 older children, and I just wasn't happy. It was a very toxic relationship. I was never happy being with a man, and I did not have that attraction. I didn't want to be intimate with a man, which caused problems. But there was no love, support that I needed and I craved. And being with Hannah, I'm a princess. When I actually met Hannah, I was in a woman's refuge.
Before I met Lauren, I spent quite a reasonable time single. I hadn't been in the best relationship prior to that. I ended up in therapy for about 1.5 years due to going under the traumatics of being in a narcissistic relationship.
Our relationship did start pretty quick.
I think most same-sex relationships do develop really quickly though.
Yeah, and the fact that I was homeless and in a woman's refuge, I felt that safety and security being with Hannah. And it was actually Hannah's parents that was like, so when's Lauren moving in? But lesbians do U-Haul, and it is very quick, and I did U-Haul from up north to down south.
So I proposed to Lauren, we were having quite an intimate moment. You know, as you do, she was extremely happy with her outcome. And she'd been pestering me about when it was going to happen loads and loads before. And I thought, we know it's going to happen, let's just do it. And that was the time I then proposed to Lauren. And she was crying and blabbering everywhere whilst laying on a towel.
We did have a nice night though. Hannah did plan to take me for a really nice tapasy meal.
Yeah.
And we went for a few drinks at a cocktail bar.
We did.
So we are expecting triplets,
Yeah.
3 little girls.
So we found out.
Yes. We obviously decided to do IVF, reciprocal IVF to be exact. So I obviously do work in medical tourism, and I reached out to my boss. We started looking at clinics in obviously northern Cyprus, because it's still classed as Turkish land, but
Turkey, you can't
Turkey,
actually have a
it's
same
illegal.
sex, yeah. It's very strict.
So we found the clinic we was happy with. We worked with them, built a contract with the company Prime Health Concept that I work for. We set a package and we went and done it first to try and to see if we were happy with the results. And it turns out...
We wanted to experience it as well, rather than selling something we'd obviously never done before.
Used.
We wanted to be able to support people going through the process, because we had not only gone through it ourselves, we've recently gone through it, and I think it's an experience you're never going to forget.
No. I've had lots of surgeries, I've had all kinds, and mentally and physically, it is the hardest one we have gone through.
Yeah, and that wasn't invasive at all.
No,
well,
it was the
to
mentally,
a degree, but, yeah.
the side of it.
For me, it's new, because with your 2 children, they're not babies. I know sometimes they have tantrums like babies, but they're not babies. So for me, it would be a complete new beginning. but I'm excited to do it together.
I think there's no way to combat homophobia, but by people sharing their journey and their life, it breaks the stigma and it will help more people understand and learn that to love people, it's acceptable. To love everyone, it's the kind and right thing to do. And don't judge a book by its cover.